Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from beautiful Southern California, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, and welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome to Southern California. We made it. The Wisdom of the Sages team has made it out to, what is this, Orange County, California we're in?
I don't know. You know better. Is this Orange County? Laguna Beach?
It might be. I'm in Laguna Beach. You're in, where are you? We're all
you
not
tell
together.
me. You just dropped me off here. I don't even know where I am.
You're staying at these beautiful Indian family's house.
Yeah,
I'm staying on the
really
temple
nice
room
people.
floor.
Uh-huh.
And Mara is with her brother in Venice.
Yeah.
We're going to
With the
all
brother in Venice.
today for a morning japa walk, pranayam, and cool ocean dip this morning.
Well, we didn't see Mara yesterday, and I'm a little worried because, I got a feeling that California thing is kind of maybe
It's going to
affecting her.
change me.
Well, I woke up this morning and I saw a text to me and Raghu that you'd written something about, like, hey, maybe we got to do the show like a little later tomorrow.
Well, to be honest with you, Kaustubha, somebody put me up to that text a little
Get
bit.
out of here. That was Raghu?
I was tired.
I was thinking, oh man, Raghu is like, he's straight as an arrow, but Mara, she's slipping.
Oh,
But it's-
no.
Oh,
Here's my instructions for Mara today. Mara, you're going to get in a car, drive on the 405 South, exit Laguna 133, head west, and get out of here.
You're becoming a Californian.
And we have kirtan tonight. I'm very excited for all the people that are
We-
signed up for our retreat. And we're trying to figure out how to make the show happen despite the retreat. Maybe we'll do it at the
What's the
regular
problem?
time. Well, I was thinking maybe we could do it live during the retreat. Wouldn't that be cool?
You see, he's trying to get out of it. It's like, you could do it at 5 a.m., Raghu. Do you think it's too much to do? We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We're going
Okay.
to surprise you guys.
But that's not good because it would be good if we could tell people before the end of this show. But anyway, we'll figure it out.
Right. Don't we have a way to
America
reach
put the word.
everybody, especially our Zoomers? Our Zoomers are the only ones that care, if you think about it. There should be a
Yeah.
Zoom, like they have the bat phone, the Zoom phone. Okay, guys, here's the plan for tomorrow. It's like a red blinking phone.
But I should thank, my host, Kishore and Shriji. These are beautiful people. It's kind of like when you get into this bhakti thing, you got friends everywhere, They just welcome you into their home.
Where you're staying?
Yeah. They're so
Are
nice.
they
You haven't met
cooking-
them
Are they
yet.
cooking for you?
Yeah, they made me breakfast yesterday. I had lunch over at
Are they good? Are
With
they
you.
Gujarati?
the Gujarati, yeah.
Yeah, are they good cooks? You've had the Gujarati stuff? Or you
No,
had
it
the
was
American stuff?
it was a simple breakfast. It was like fruit and muffins and stuff like that, but it was nice.
You get the Gujarati breakfast, man. You gotta say, hey, thanks for the muffins, but
Let's go Guju.
let's go Guju today.
Go Guji.
What do you? I would have been like, take this back. A banana and a muffin. What do you think I am? I don't stay at
No,
I don't stay at a
it was-
Gujarati families for nothing.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
You got any nuggets of wisdom, or are we just gonna go right into it?
Well,
I think today's verses will reveal the nuggets.
Okay.
There's some stuff about working when you're working and you're just working an illusion and how empty that feels. And anybody have that feeling in life where you just sort of feel like I'm busy doing nothing? It's like it's a lousy way to feel because you're really busy and you don't have time for anything. But when you feel like in your heart of hearts, like, what am I actually doing with this life? But you're too busy to even stop and think about it because you got to keep going. Busy doing nothing. That is a hashtag, sir.
Okay.
And so, in Bhakti, we're okay with being busy. People tend to think like, well, oh yeah, you know what? I used to see this. You don't know this part of my life, but at one point in my life, I had a surf camp. I kid you not, in Costa Rica.
You had a surf camp.
I had a surf camp in Costa Rica, my friend.
You were teaching people how to surf?
No, I was learning how to surf. I just owned it.
You owned it? I didn't even know anything about this.
It's another weird chapter of my life that won't even make it to my book, but it was a very short chapter. It's a long, weird story. But my point was, Costa Rica, I found, was filled with people who were like, yeah, I'm sick of the grind. I've been working hard my whole life. I got to get out of here. And then they do it. They cash out and they go to Costa Rica or any place like that. They go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And instead of being like, it's the ping pong effect of working your ass off, is you go somewhere and you do nothing but surf. Sounds great. There are so many people who are just alcoholics and they're not busy doing nothing. So there's a difference between just being busy doing nothing and not busy doing nothing. We say, do something. And that's what Bhakti is. It's taking whatever you do and connecting it to something bigger. Or else you'll always feel, it doesn't matter if it's a mundane hustle or a mundane laying on the beach. You'll get to this point where you're like, what is my life for? How am I contributing? And that's what really fulfills the heart. What you think about that, Kaustubha?
Okay, well, it's first of all, it's blowing my mind picturing you out there with your Costa Rica surf club or whatever, school. What do you call it?
It was predated Super Soul Farm.
All right.
Anyway, it was a good little page, good page in a chapter. Okay. So anyway, that's an important thing. We're going to dive into that today because Brahma was feeling a little busy doing nothing.
Yeah, or he was doing something, but he wasn't happy with it, right? Sometimes he
was doing something. Well, my point is he was creating illusion and despair and all these things, and he just was not feeling connected. And so there was anxiety and depression.
Job dissatisfaction.
Job dissatisfaction. He had to go to HR and talk about. All right, let's dive into this. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesh vabhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya, bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will be eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurudmadatam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are forcibly opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances to their lotus feet.
Okay.
To their lotus-like feet. They're forcibly opening my eyes. That's a horrible picture.
With a torch.
What kind of sick religion are you part of?
And you're offering your obeisances to them. I will obey you.
It's like this. What is that? The Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah, the Stockholm
where you're
syndrome.
worshiping your abuser. Thank you. At your lotus-like feet.
All right. So we are in chapter 12 of Canto 3 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We read the first two verses last time we got together.
Oh yeah, hold the phone, sir. Hold the phone.
All right, I'm holding.
Okay, chapter 12. Went to the wrong chapter.
Yeah.
Creation of the Kumaras and the others.
And the others.
That is so funny.
So it opened up with Maitreya
You
explaining.
know where I got the others from, right?
Some television show about people living on the island.
Yeah,
or something?
Lost. There were these people. You know what I'm talking about, Justin? The others. Did you ever watch Lost? Yeah, you know the others. They talk about the others. Okay. Yes, on the island.
Okay.
Thought you guys would be more excited about that. Okay.
Not
All
really.
right. All right, go on. Creation of the Kumaras.
Yeah, so creation of Kumars and the others. Maitreya's. Why don't we go ahead and just read these first two verses quickly again? Because no harm.
Sri Maitreya said, O learned Vidura, so far I've explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature of Kala. That's the eternal time. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge.
So and when it says the creation of Brahma, it means Brahma's creation, like how he creates now.
Oh, the creation of, yeah. Brahma first created the nescient engagements like self-deception, the sense of death. I love that. The sense of death.
There's a band right there.
There's another metal band for you. We're Sense of Death, Harrisburg.
From Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Anger after frustration, another metal band.
Yeah, that's great.
The sense of false ownership.
That doesn't work
quite
so
work.
well.
And the illusory bodily conception, that could work.
Maybe not a metal band, but something else.
They're like a goth. The illusory bodily conception. And forgetfulness of one's real identity. So Brahma created all these horrible things. Brahma created them first.
Yeah, that was the first thing he did, right? Because if we were going to enter the illusion, we got to be an illusion, right?
Sure.
So there's a sense of death, anger upon frustration, sense of false ownership, illusory bodily conception, and forgetfulness of one's real
It's like
identity.
a metal festival. And Iron Maiden headlining. Seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead.
Okay.
Then he began another term of creation.
Right. So
Big
this is
stuff
his job dissatisfaction. It's like no one, I've heard similar things described, like for instance, like Durga's role in the material world, the goddess Durga.
Yeah.
And, it's her responsibility to the bring the sufferings of the material world onto us, She's got
Bring the pain.
The threefold miseries, she's got a trident, she's riding on a tiger, and she's poking at us,
She's that's what that trident is for. It's not for baling hay. That's for that is for poking the embodied beings. Right. And we all get poked.
And I think it's in the commentary of the Brahma Samhita, if I remember correctly, where it's talking about Durga and it describes, there's an analogy that, like sometimes we see those films about medieval times and they're beheading people. You're interested in people being beheaded, right? Right. That caught your attention.
You remember my whole beheading thing.
Yeah. And so when the person that does the beheading, they wear a mask, right?
Yeah. Why is that?
Because who wants to be walking around what do you do for a living? Oh, well, I behead people.
That's why they wear the mask. I thought it was just extra intimidating.
No. It's because it's it's a job that has to be done. But who wants to be the one that does it? Who wants to be known as the one that does it, right? And Brahma's kind of feeling that I had this task, but what? I'm not really.
Where were you yesterday at the beheading?
I was doing it. Oh yeah. I noticed that guy up there doing the beheading.
That guy looked pretty similar to you.
Yeah, well, not so much.
He had your shoulder. He has that same tattoo on his back.
Yeah, a lot of people got that.
So you're saying that mask during the beheading is to be incognito? That's what you're saying? That's what I'm saying. That's what you're
I'm not saying it
right
but
now.
I could be wrong. My memory could be wrong, but I think that was coming from. I think I read that in the commentary to the Brahma Samhita.
Mara, can you fact check that, please? Why do they wear? the beheading. I'm serious.
Okay, well, so let's assuming that that's correct. You know, Brahma is kind of like he's not wearing 4 masks, but he's feeling that kind of dissatisfaction, like, oh, I've got this task and it's not a very pleasant one. It's not what I want to be known for. It's not what I want to be remembered for, like putting everyone in illusion, right?
Yes.
He's got some job dissatisfaction. But you know what is also included in this verse, Raghu?
What?
Is the remedy for job dissatisfaction.
Which is...
Let's search it out, see if you can find it.
I can't find the verse anymore.
No. It says that seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity. And therefore, what did he do? He purified himself by meditation on Vishnu, on Krishna.
Want to feel worthy, people? If you're suffering from worthlessness or feeling unworthy, do worthy things. So Brahma's about to engage in worthy activities. It helps. If you feel worthless, if you suffer from lack of self-worth, we do worthy things.
But worthy is one thing, right? Like, in other words, you could go out and do nice things to kind of like feel a counterbalance or something like that. But this is even on a whole nother level. In other words, when I bring my mind to God, right, then it's actually just kind of plugging into my eternal situation, right? It's like my temporary situation is I got to do this crummy job.
Yeah.
And I could counter that with another temporary thing. But when I bring my mind to God, that is actually my original consciousness. That is who I am. And so there's nothing like that, right? Nothing compares to that. And, and you can do this in a practical way. Like, even like, I think we could understand that idea that the dissatisfaction that we have in this world, whether it's like acute suffering or whether it's like a dull kind of like disappointment in life, whether it's a momentary thing, like right now my mind is in anxiety and I want to change it now. What do? Just start chanting some Brahma Samhita in your mind, right? Just start, right?
Well, yes, exactly.
But then also like in a more long-term way. In other words, well, okay, that was my momentary, cure, but it's also the long-term, remedy to like dissatisfaction with life. Is I need to get my life geared in such a way where I'm regularly, steadily, my mind is connected to God.
I always used to go through toll booths and look at
more about your past. I didn't know about you.
Oh, I'd go through the toll booths just for fun. We go driving through a toll booth, and you're handing. It's just such a trivial transaction. Like, here's the ticket, here's the money. Here's the ticket, here's the money. But I was thinking, like, these people, their lives, just taking that ticket, giving the money, giving the change.
They need a mask
taking
too?
that ticket. I was like, what a mundane existence. But I was thinking, you add a little Krishna to that, you could be in paradise in that toll booth. You know what I mean? All you got to do is add a little Krishna in that toll booth, a little music, a little chanting. I'd be singing in that toll booth, giving everybody a little smile as you give them their change.
Give them a little
It changes your whole day. Otherwise, what an assembly line of a job that is.
That could be brutal. Talk about job dissatisfaction.
Brutal. It could be like worse than solitary confinement.
And then you could just flip it.
And then you flip it. You can even flip solitary confinement, people.
That's a hard
the
one
interesting thing. You give me a Chaitanya Charitamrita and a japa malas, put me in solitary confinement. I'm in there. I'm smiling for the next 10 years.
You want to read the commentary? Hey, Mara, did you come up with any info?
Well, I'm deferring to the chat board, and Viviji and AJ Sullivan both confirmed that Kaustubha is correct.
Okay,
That the mask is because they're ashamed of their face.
I don't know about ashamed. but
Ashamed
yeah,
of their
they're trying to
role. Like, yeah, they're
hide their identity.
Really? Okay. I
You
stand
doubted me?
corrected. If Vivi and AJ Sullivan agree, then I'm backing off. Jamie Steffer brings up this point of, remember that show Dirty Jobs?
No, I don't.
Thank God for the chat board. That's why you got to join Zoom, people. Go to email Mayor at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. You can join our crazy little dysfunctional family on Zoom every morning. get the secret codes, enter into the club. Okay.
Purport. Hit it, Raghu.
You read purports. I don't want to
Okay.
click out of it, click back into it.
Okay.
If that's okay.
No problem.
I'll do the verses.
So Prabhupada writes, although he created the different influences of nescience, of ignorance, Lord Brahma was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. But he had to do it because, and here's why. Because most of the conditioned souls wanted it to be so. We want the illusion, right?
Yep.
Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15.
Mamaivam so jiva loki.
No. You always, I've been noticing this. You gotta like you go to 15:7, Raghunath. There's some tick
Something special in
mind.
that verse for me.
Yeah. No,
What's
it's a great one.
15:15?
Sarvasya chaham.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sanavisto mata
Mata
smrti
smrti.
jnanam apoanam cha
Vedais.
vedes cha sarvam hridi sanavisto vedanta vit vedakrit eva chaham.
Yeah, you got the third line. You went back to the first halfway.
Back to the first line.
Yeah. Vedais just survey. Eva.
Nobody
Veda.
noticed except
I know.
you.
I shouldn't have even
and
said it.
Nityananda Chandra. He's like the umpire keeping score.
Yeah, so that verse talks about how Krishna is seated in everyone's heart, but also it says mata smriti or jnanam apohanam cha, that from him come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Right.
I love that.
So it's indicating that we want to forget sometimes. And
You want to forget?
Brahma's-
Krishna allows you to forget. You think you're forgetting Krishna? No, he's allowing you to forget him.
That's right.
Isn't
And
that amazing?
he's doing it through Brahma, right? Brahma is like kind of facilitating it by creating these 5 different types of illusion.
Sometimes he'll even give you a
Yeah.
faulty intelligence so you can forget him. Like he'll give you good reasons why. Yeah, well, I'm not interested in organized religion or organized thought, or, this is too simplistic, or God is a blue cowherd boy. He'll give you some type of deep intelligence to help you forget him.
Sometimes those arguments, like they're in the guise of like intellect, like like sophisticated intellect, but they're so simplistic. It's like ridiculous,
Whatever it is, it could even seem sophisticated, but it's still coming from Krishna. So you can forget him.
Yeah.
Because he wants to facilitate your desire. And the interesting thing is, if you have a desire, you know what? I want Krishna. I want Krishna. I want Krishna. And that is your meditation today. We can all try it right now. Ready? I want Krishna. Mara, come on. I want Krishna. I want Krishna. If you want Krishna, guess what? He's yours. All you got to do is dive after those feet. Do one of those Pete Rose dives into home plate after. Anybody know Pete Rose?
Well, Pete Rose, he would like run into the catcher and like really hit him hard.
Mara, do you know who Pete Rose is?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God! All right, that old. Pete Rose, head first, full on face first dives. You got to do that face first dive to Krishna's lotus feet. Every European who doesn't know baseball is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" That was a bad European accent.
Yeah.
But the fact that
Generally,
you want Krishna,
resort
he's
to
yours.
Romanian.
You just got to grab him.
Right.
And if you want Maya, Krishna will facilitate that. Who wants Maya today? No.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to hear about right here. He goes on to say, the question may be raised why the Lord, who is all merciful, helps one to remember and another to forget. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, his mercy is not exhibited in partiality towards one and enmity towards another. Okay, then what's it all about? The living entity, as part and parcel of the Lord, is partially independent because he partially possesses all the qualities of the Lord. Right? Prabhupada's using the logic there, right?
Mm.
If the Lord is independent and we're part of the Lord, then we have partial independence.
By the way, Kaustubha, I'm noticing also No Dance Chants is on the shloka study group, because I quoted a shloka that he recognized. Isn't that amazing? We have
Excellent.
this, if you're part of the Patreon program, we have this shloka study. We study Sanskrit shlokas with Nityananda Chandra, and it's a great group. There's a big group doing it. And I tell you, it's a classical way in India. People study from childhood the Sanskrit and English, and it's really learning piece of wisdom nuggets that just get lodged in your head with all the other nonsense that you've got lodged in there. It starts filling your head with transcendental wisdom, and eventually all the nonsense goes away. And that's what we're doing by studying shlokas. That's why Mara is so eager to study shlokas, and Bhakti Justin have been studying. Everybody should check in with that shloka study. When does it meet, Mara?
Wednesdays and Saturdays, I believe.
Okay.
Wednesday evening and
Yeah.
Saturday, I think around 11:30 a.m.
I think we had set up a protocol where whenever anyone went to California, Mary was supposed to learn another verse. Right?
Mara, have you noticed Kaustubha's been like sort of grilling you lately?
I have noticed
I'm just
that.
when she goes to California, I get a concern. That's all. I don't want her to change. That's all.
We're on that airplane, Mara. A couple things. You can
Okay.
just take a nap, or you can learn a shloka. Okay.
Okay.
You
All
give her
right.
the shloka,
Continue
right?
on.
Okay. So the living entity, as part and parcel of the Lord, is partially independent because he partially possesses all the qualities of the Lord. Anyone who has some independence may sometimes misuse it due to ignorance. When the living entity prefers to misuse their independence and glide down towards nescience, the all-merciful Lord, first of all, tries to protect them from the trap. But when the living entity persists in gliding down toward hell, the Lord helps him forget his real position. If that's what you want. Probably it's like
Gliding.
blonde, right?
Just gliding to hell. By the way, if all this sounds too Christian and fire and brimstone, you can do. We see that. Don't even go there. How about in this lifetime? Haven't you ever glided down to hell? Like it's like one bad choice leads another bad choice, leads another bad choice, and you feel yourself like almost like willingly making bad choices, and they just start to pile up. And next thing you know, you're in like a very tough place in the glue trap of material existence.
Oh, that's a new one.
Glue trap of material
glue
existence.
trap of material. We're glue trap of material existence from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
From Scranton. The Metal Festival. All right, where are we now?
That's a weird name, though. Glue trap. Glue trap. I could see that.
Glue trap is more hardcore, I think.
Well, no, like Slipknot. Like we're glue trap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what are we at?
Do you
Text
accept
5?
that? No, we're still reading this commentary.
Okay, go.
And so he goes on. He mentioned the trap. The Lord helps the falling living entity glide down to the lowest point just to give them the chance to see if they're happy by misusing their independence. Almost all conditioned souls who are rotting in the material world are misusing their independence, and therefore 5 kinds of nescience are imposed upon them. As an obedient servitor of the Lord, Brahma creates all these as a matter of necessity, but he's not happy in doing so because, why? Because a devotee of the Lord naturally does not like to see anyone falling down from their real position. Persons who do not care for the path of realization get full facilities from the Lord for executing the proclivities to the fullest extent, and Brahma helps in that procedure without fail. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Text number. What text was that?
That was 3.
3. Okay, here's 4. In the beginning, Brahma created the great sages named Shanaka, Shananda, and Shanatana, and Sanat Kumar. All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing upwards.
You're gonna explain
in the back here.
You're
I'm
gonna
having
explain
a
that medically?
scriptural reading, and you're laughing.
Me?
No, Justin. Laughing at the
This
semens
is serious
flowing
stuff
upward.
here.
This is very serious.
Yeah.
This is an idea of that the semen actually fortifies the brain by
nourishes
doing
it.
this yogic process of. It's almost like these women do this too. They after birth, the Kegel method, where you're lifting the perineum. This is, and you pump the semen, also known as the ojas, up the spine to the skull.
I'm unfamiliar with that.
You're unfamiliar with that?
Yeah.
It's a yogic technique where you're pumping the perineum. Ask the Yogi True, he'll tell you all about it. Pumping the perineum, and it lifts the ojas up, or else the ojas. It's the fear of spilling the ojas, so to speak, because it affects the intelligence.
All right.
And of course the
4 Kumars.
Here's what they said. Yeah, the 4 Kumars are onto this.
Okay,
these
so
techniques.
So Brahma, he created these different types of nescience. He was feeling bad about that. He wanted to do something more positive, and he was able to generate the 4 Kumaras, right? 4 little boys, right, who are like sages. And we hear a little bit about them in this commentary. And you can see that each one of them kind of carries like a field of knowledge. I'll read it. He says, although Brahma created the principles of nescience as a matter of necessity for those living entities who are destined to ignorance by the will of the Lord, he was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. He therefore created 4 principles of knowledge. First one, here are the 4 principles. I'll read them, right? Sāṅkhya, yoga, vairāgya, and tapas. These 4. These are the things that help you get out of ignorance, right? So he says, he therefore created the 4 principles of knowledge, sāṅkhya, or the empiric philosophy for the analytical study of material conditions, yoga, or mysticism for liberation of the pure soul from material bondage, vairāgya, the acceptance of complete detachment from material enjoyment in life to elevate oneself to the highest spiritual understanding, and tapas, or the various kinds of voluntary austerities performed for spiritual perfection. All right. So these are, Prabhupada calls them principles of knowledge. These are fields of knowledge that help one uncover their true nature rather than cover it. And each one of those sages, it seems like they kind of owned one of those, like they're kind of responsible for it, like I guess preserving it, propagating it, something like that. Okay. But Brahma created the 4 great sages Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat to entrust them with these 4 principles of spiritual advancement. And they inaugurated their own spiritual party, or sampradaya, known as the Kumaras. The Kumara Sampradaya, or later on, it's known as the Nimbarka Sampradaya, for the advancement of bhakti. All these great sages became great devotees, for without devotional service to the personality of Godhead, one cannot achieve success in any activity of spiritual value. All right, so that part, I think when Prabhupada says party there, he doesn't mean like
Party.
Yeah, not he means party like almost like a Democratic Republican party, like that kind of party,
A
like
spiritual party, yeah.
but a spiritual one. And so he uses the word. Maybe this should be our Sanskrit word for the day, sampradaya.
Oh, that's a good one. Sampradaya. It's a
Sampradaya.
spiritual lineage.
A lineage.
Sampradaya.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is how we learn this stuff. It gets passed down in tradition. We say sometimes I say in tradition, but it really means in sampradaya, in disciplic succession, a bona fide sampradaya. It's not just like 100 years ago there was like an insightful person and he started teaching. It's not about an insightful person. It's about an insightful person in a lineage. You don't just start making stuff up. That's not how Vedic thought works.
Yeah. So there are 4 bona fide lineages for Bhakti Yoga, right? Hot seat, Raghu. Who's the originator of each one?
There's Brahma is one of the sampradayas. That's one of the ones that we fall in. And then there's the 4 Kumaras.
Okay.
Then there's Shiva in the Rudra Sampradaya. And then there is the Lakshmi Sampradaya.
The Shri, sometimes called the Shri
But they're
Sampradaya.
also called the Shri Sampradaya. And then, of course, there's great acharyas or masters that we know on earth that are representatives of those sampradaya. So there's
Later on in history, they become prominent figures, like in more modern, even though they're still like up to 1,000 years ago. Shri Sampradaya is like 1,000 years ago, but still it's like in modern history compared to like if you take the Shri Sampradaya and go back to Lakshmi, that's like going to the beginning of time,
Right. And
But-
of course, there's many great acharyas that have come down in those sampradayas.
Well, let's extend the hot seat, right? So name the acharya for each one.
You're
Can you do that?
extending the hot. This is the hot, like
Extending the heat.
hot chaise lounge. All right, so we have Madhva was from the Brahma Sampradaya.
That's right. That's the sampradaya that we're in.
Yes.
It goes through Madhva and then Chaitanya.
Okay, Rudra Sampradaya. Let's see. Then we have Vishnu Swami from the Sri Sampradaya.
No.
No? Vishnu Swami
Sri
from the
Sri
Nimbarka
Sampra-
Sampradaya.
Sri Sampradaya, you should know that one.
Ramanuj.
Ramanuja, yeah.
Ramanuj from the then Vishnu Swami from the Nimbarka Sampradaya,
Yeah, which is the Kumara Sampradaya.
the Kumar Sampradaya, and then
No, you shouldn't. I think you relate to the Sampradaya. Sometimes I think you're from the Sampradaya.
Haridas Swami.
Haridas Swami is in the Nimbarka Sampradaya.
Okay.
But Vallabha. Right? Did you freeze on me, Raghu?
No,
Okay.
no, that's wrong.
Vallabha Sampradaya. He's in the Rudra Sampradaya. Vallabhacharya. Yeah.
Acha.
Yeah. Okay. But here we're hearing that the Kumaras, they started, from them extends like a tree, like a network, a lineage that's going down through different teachers. And at a certain point in history, one of them is named Nimbarka, right? That's about 500 years ago or so.
Yeah.
I think. Or maybe Nimbarka goes further back, but other people like Swami Haridas. When was Swami Haridas around?
Time of Lord Chaitanya. He was Haridas Swami. This is different than in our lineage. We talk about Haridas Thakur, who's the famous Muslim who started chanting the holy name, became the acharya of chanting. We tell stories about Haridas, but this is a different Haridas. This is Haridas Swami. He was the one that unearthed or discovered the Bankebihari, famous Bankebihari deity, which is Radha and Krishna in one deity. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Explain
it's
that
like
to me.
split down the middle. So many good stories about we got to have the Haridas Swami.
Well, in Vrindavan, there's, you run into the Nimbarka Sampradaya a lot, right? Like,
Some of those places where we take everybody.
Yeah,
like,
the two most active temples in Vrindavan are the ISKCON Hare Krishna Temple, Krishna Balaram Temple, which is kind of our home there, right?
Yeah.
And the other one is Bankebihari, which is kind of Raghunath's home. That's like, you love
anyone
that
who's been to India with me has been to Bankebihari before.
Yeah.
It's always like, and it's so funny because it's so India. Like the ISKCON temple is sort of like, it's like the Americans and the Indians come together, and it's sort of like it's got that American organization.
Well, they call it the foreigner temple. Like the locals call it the foreigner temple.
The foreigner temple.
Yeah.
But now there's so many foreigner temples in Vrindavan. But Bankebihari is pure chaos, which is sort of like what I'm attracted to. Do you remember my daughter got swept up in the
I was there, like, because I was the one like kind of keeping an eye. Like, it was jam packed. It was like a wild mosh pit. It was like really.
Yeah, you can't even do this type of stuff in America. That you have fire marshals in there. Like, you have too many people. My daughter's sucked up, and she's like in ecstatic bliss, getting like red cinder thrown at her face.
Well, I was telling her because it was like time to go, and I'm like far away from her, and she's deep, and like it was all men too. It was like just like tons of like men going wild in there, and she's kind of like right in the middle of it. And I was like, hey, it's time to go, and she's like, well, I want the powder, like they throw the dye, powdered dye. And she wasn't gonna go, and I was sitting next to Parmananda, and I was like, my God, like I was worried for her, like it was just too wild in there. And Parmananda just said she's the true she's the true daughter of Ray Capo, right in the mosh pit there.
It's like a truly a transcendental mosh pit at Bankebihari. So Bankebihari is like considered one of these. First of all, the guru Haridas Swami, he was a famous singer. Did you know that?
Yeah, he was famous for his music.
They said that now is one of those mystical things. You don't have to believe it, but mystical things happen.
Yeah.
They said that he did this rain raga. Have you ever heard about that? He did a raga of rain where it was so beautiful or something. It was so somehow the sound was connected that he could make it rain.
I believe it.
And and he is known. I'm not just making this stuff up because Tansen, who became was his disciple. And if you just Google up Tansen, Tansen, he was really he was almost more famous than his guru, but he considered his guru better singer than him. So when the Mughals took over India in whatever that was, the 1400s, Akbar, who was very a cultured Mughal, he wanted Tansen, who was a Hindu, on his court as the court musician. And Tansen would say to Akbar, he'd say, you think I'm good? You should meet my guru. And then he took Akbar, the emperor, to meet Haridas Swami. Anyway, there's so many good pastimes in that regard.
You know, where was the, for some reason the name is slipping my mind. Not Sevakunj, but that
Nidhivan.
Nidhivan. Yeah.
Nidhivan.
We went to Nidhivan, which is where Radha and Krishna have very, beautiful, intimate pastimes. It's like a forest still. It's a beautiful place, right?
It's incredible.
Last time we were in Vrindavan, we took
tens
a
of
group there.
thousands of monkeys. Mara, did you go with us to Nidhivan?
Yeah, she came, right? Yeah, she's nodding.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and remember the guy that was like the kind of showing us around. He reminded us so much of Raghu.
Yeah, we gotta get that picture online.
Right. That guy was
it's
great.
me like in 20 years from now. Although he's probably younger than me. In all truth.
And he had like a kurtan that went down like to his shins, and we're like, oh, we got to get Raghu one of those things, and it look great in that. But it's beautiful past. It's another place that's connected to that sampradaya also. Really special place in Vrindavan.
Tatiyastan.
Tatiyastan. Why don't you tell us about Tatiyastan?
Tatiyastan is this is a temple I like to bring people to. It's because they use no electricity. This is like my dream temple. This is where I want my life to go. No electricity.
Mm-hmm.
It's so off the grid, this place. They were off the grid before off the grid was cool.
It's like going back in time.
You're back in time. And they worship the dust of Vrindavan. Now, when we say dust, it's a special,
sand.
It means the earth.
Yes,
We say the dust of Vrindavan and the dust of their feet. You think of a dusty house. That's what an American thinks.
Right.
Why do you want dust? It's not dust. It's the earth. And the earth is all beautiful sand.
Sandy.
Sparkly sand.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're at the beach and there's big, beautiful ashvata trees, banyan trees, peepal trees, flowering trees, and then these beautiful temples. And they don't use any microphones. You're not allowed to bring your phone and take photos. And they do these beautiful chanting, which sounds like almost like Gregorian chants. They just, I've recorded it secretly.
No,
Don't tell them.
Yeah, so all these sadhus live there, right? Yeah, and they got their little village in there too, right? And they're all studying together, and they're taking nice care of that place, right?
Matter of fact, a few of us, including my son Rocco, we after the pilgrimage, we went back there for because they serve lunch to the sadhus every day.
Right.
So we went there with the sadhus and took lunch.
Yeah. It's beautiful. You go in there, and it is like you're stepping back in time, and it's sandy in a beautiful way with beautiful trees, and it's a peaceful like groves, peaceful sandy groves, And then there's like the little ashrams for the different sadhus that live there. They all have a certain type of chadar, like a certain print on it, and they have their guru there, and he kind of just sits there in his room, and people come in and they say hello to him, and he kind of gives them some blessing, and then you go to the temple, and the temple like. It's kind of an outdoor temple, right?
Yeah.
You go up these stairs, right? And then you're coming on this higher level, but it's still sandy up there. And then they open up and you're outdoors in this temple, but outdoors, and they start to sing these songs, right?
It's beautiful. Okay, here's a trivia question for you, Kaustubha.
All right, hot seat.
What time at the Bankebihari Temple? What time is Mangal Artik?
Oh man, I don't know. I would guess.
So Mangal Artik is the very first Artik of the day. It's generally done at 4:30 in the morning. It's at Mangala means like the auspicious time, but the first Artik
5:30,
9 a.m.
Get out
because it is believed that Bankebihari has been up late at night sporting with the cowherd damsels. Mangal Artik is the only one day. Mangal Artik is only one day a year in this temple on Janmashtami.
Otherwise, they don't have Mangal
One day a
Arati. They
year
just let
can
them
the
sleep in.
lotus.
It's like a constant sleep-in Saturday there.
It's a constant sleep. Only one day. Wait. Oh, check this out. Only one day a year can the lotus feet of the deity be seen. On Akshaya. On Akshaya Tritaya. On Chandan Darshan.
Chandan Yatra?
Yeah. On the third day. Okay, this is interesting stuff. I'm digging up on Bankebihari. All right. Anyway.
So it's a beautiful lineage, And we were just saying, I was speaking to Raghunath Swami a few nights ago, and I mentioned this to him because I was describing that, there's that. I was talking to you about it, right? There's this website that has the different commentaries for the Bhagavad Gita. You click on a verse, and you got commentaries from all these different sampradayas. You got the Sri Sampradaya commentary coming from Ramanuja. You got the Madhva Sampradaya commentary coming from, I think he got it from Baladev Vidyabhushana, who comes in that lineage, as well as our, our branch of that lineage, and Madhvacharya. And then it mentions Keshava Kashmiri of the Nimbarka Sampradaya, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's the Keshava Kashmiri that met Lord Chaitanya. And then he went on to enter into that Kumara Sampradaya.
It was an amazing time, if you really think about that time in Vrindavan, of all these like stalwart masters from many different lineages.
Renaissance, right?
What a renaissance.
Yeah,
Don't you wish you were
music,
there? Maybe
temples.
you were there. Maybe you were there.
I don't know.
Maybe Mara was there.
Mara was there. Papa
And
Tony.
for some, and due to a strong desire to serve the Vaishnava, she gets born into Kali Yuga Central, and
goes to private school,
upstate New York. Does this Leela where she opens up a catering company, and then finds God, and then now she's on pilgrimage all the time.
Yeah.
You never know our backstories that got us here worshiping Krishna right now. You never know. But it's definitely not ordinary.
But imagine that time in Vrindavan. You're right, like 500 years ago, right? You have the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Sanatana, Rupa, right? Jiva Goswami walk around, Raghunath Das Goswami. It's like incredible souls. Then you got Vallabhacharya showing up there and his sons and followers, right? You got Swami Haridas playing his music, right?
Swami Haridas. Yeah, this is in the middle.
Mirabai kind of walking into that.
Talk about the colonial invasions. This was like the worst invasion that ever hit India ever. And these guys are just like, well, that's okay. We're just doing our thing here. And they were like killing everybody.
Mirabai kind of coming on.
Mirabai was there. My God.
Yeah.
If I had to go back in time, you ever do that? Like if I could be reborn somewhere else, that'd be a good time.
That would be
unless you were getting killed.
Unless you're afraid of getting killed by Muslim invaders.
Well, it's another interesting thing, because it must have felt maybe for the first time like this, our country feels really insecure. Yet these guys were at the highest pinnacle of spiritual evolution. Just goes to show in any situation, you can be very connected.
Yeah.
These guys were the most connected. These guys were the Bhakti Renaissance masters.
Well, look, and when we say Renaissance, I mean for real. Like, look at what was being produced architecturally. The Govindaji Temple, the Madan Mohan. Govindaji Temple is an architectural masterpiece. It's like unbelievable. When you see that, even what's left of it, right? It's been like, it's been damaged, but even seeing what's left of it is just like stunning. So there are beautiful temples being built there. There's music traditions that were being developed at that time there, right? In all these different
I never even finished my story. Tansen, he said his guru could make it rain, and they can stop the rain. And, we understand, like, there's singers that could sing and make glass break, right? And it shatters the glass. Remember that Maxell?
I do.
Remember that Maxell commercial for Maxell
television
cassettes?
commercial, yeah.
Mary, you know what I'm talking about? Youngin?
Yeah, I remember that one actually.
Young blood.
I don't remember cassettes.
Yeah, what is a cassette?
But anyway, so there was ragas that could make it rain, ragas that could make the sun come out. We got to do some raga research. But there are all these mystical arts of sound. So interesting.
And then all the festivals that were, kind of like, further developed and kind of established as, and what to speak of the literature, right? Drama, poetry, philosophy, It's like, what an incredible historic time to be there.
By the way, the Bankebihari Temple is where the guys do the fertility pujas.
Okay.
Just in case any of you ladies out there.
You think I'm in need?
If you need a fertility pujas, they always work, they say. Okay. I just put up a link to Bankebihari up on the chat board.
I think you're more into that Sampradaya, Raghu. I think we're in danger of losing you
to that Sampradaya.
It could happen.
I've had some magical experience at that Bankebihari Temple, that's for sure.
Yeah, but we're not counting like eating food outside of it, Raghu. Okay.
Great aloo tikkis. Oh man, Lori, I'm looking at Lori Pag right now. She knows what I'm talking about. She wants to go back. We're all jonesing to go back to Vrindavan.
Yeah, we got to get back.
Okay.
All right.
Where are we at? Is that it? I'm really excited for Kirtan tonight, Kaustubha.
Okay, you want to talk about that?
Tonight we're having Kirtan. That's about it.
It's going to be nice to just hang out with people. I think we got to make a little time. Should we invite people to come to dinner early, like if they're just around?
Yeah, if you're just around, we're going to go to Ahimsa, H-A. You guys, if you're not following Ahimsa Vegan Cafe on Instagram, follow them now. Ahimsa Vegan Cafe. It's in Long Beach, California. It's our good friend Tukaram.
Tukes.
Yeah, it's his restaurant, and all devotees work there, and they cook with love and offer with love, and they have a great menu. So we'll probably go there right before the program.
So what time will we be there? Like
if you want to meet Mara in
4:30?
You know, it's like when I'm because I'm a musician, if I hear other music, I can't fully enjoy music because I'm listening like a musician. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'll look at that, listen to that riff. I'll listen to that singer, see how that guitar player jumps. For me to listen to music, it's like a whole different experience. I can't just enjoy music. Mara's like that with cooking. She's going to be eating that veggie burger going, fried or baked. Handmade bun. Yeah, they didn't massage the kale enough.
You and I, but we were asked by Raghunath Swami to read The Journey Home before it came out, and give our feedback on it.
Yeah.
And so I remember reading that book, but I was doing it with that kind of mindset that you're saying, like, trying to think of, looking at it with a more critical eye.
Yeah.
And then I remember, and that was over a long period of time, reading it again. And then I remember, when the book finally came out, and I got a copy of it. And I was on a train. I think I was going from Jaipur to Delhi or something like that. And I was reading that book.
Been on that train.
Yeah, but it was for the first time I was just reading it free of that responsibility.
Yeah.
And I was just reading it like a regular reader, and I was like, "Oh my God, this book is so great!"
So enjoyable.
It opened up in a whole new way.
So enjoyable. Mara, you're gonna eat that prashad today, and you're not gonna analyze it. Okay, you're just gonna eat it.
Okay.
No analyzation. Just eat the food.
What time do you think we'll be there?
Cafe in Long Beach, California.
4:30, 4 o'clock, something like that. Let's say 4 o'clock, right? 4.
And if you're listening on Zoom and think I'm dressed pretty cool today, check out my new Buggle Bundy from GopiSkirts.com. This is Tukaram's wife, Radhika, does these incredible Gopi skirts, but incredible Buggle Bundys for men. I'll be featuring all Gopi skirt outfits today, but not a Gopi skirt.
You could pull it off, Raghu, with that Bundy and a Gopi skirt. I could see that working. All right.
And Madhu's going to be there too. Madhu's going to be playing Mridanga tonight.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. All the stars are coming out.
Nice. Well, one big takeaway today, right? If you got job dissatisfaction, bring your mind to the lotus feet of the Lord.
Yeah, do a Pete Rose dive to the lotus feet of the Lord. Don't be busy doing nothing. Mara?
Today's meditation, I want Krishna.
What's that?
Nice.
What's that?
Today's meditation, I want Krishna.
I want Krishna. I want Krishna.
Like
I want Krishna. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to say today. I want you walking around your town, your city, driving your car. I want Krishna. I want Krishna. I want Krishna.
Kind of
make that your mantra today.
Okay. Are there others, Mara, or is that it?
Let's see. The glue trap of material existence.
Glue trap from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
From Scranton.
In any situation, you can be connected.
In any situation, you can be connected.
Take what you do and connect to something higher.
All right. That's very good.
And of course, there was the revelation of Raghunath running a surf camp in Costa Rica.
Oh, Krishna. Oh, thanks, everybody, for joining us. You can join us every day. And tomorrow, yes, we will do it also at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Pacific Time. We're doing it. It's happening. We're doing Wisdom of Sages, and we're doing a Wisdom of Sages weekend.
That's the Sleeping Saturday Q&A, right? Q&A tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Also, so tomorrow, also, or next week rather, is the same Wisdom of the Sages weekend retreat in New York City. If you haven't signed up for that, do it. We want to meet you, get to know you. That's wisdom or bhakticenter.org. You can sign up there. Hey, if you don't know anything about India, we have a 300-hour Bhakti cultural immersion training for all you yoga teachers out there. If you want to go deeper into your Bhakti practice and teaching, sign up for that. Also with the wisdom training with me, Doyle Kostuba. You can check out that. Madhu does his Ayurvedic immersion for yoga teachers. Go to supersoulyoga.com. Check out our offerings, and we can hang all January, which is quite ecstatic. Mara will be there too. She doesn't even know it yet.
Raghu had a very secret meeting with Madhu yesterday.
A very secretive meeting with Madhu. Hi. Cindy Lunsford and me are doing a retreat. It's practically sold out in Mexico, August 2nd. Just a week of strong yoga, bhakti, singing. Excited for that. That is in Mexico, somewhere beautiful. I've never been there, but she arranged that. You can DM Hot Cindy Yoga to find out about that if you want to get out and hang out with me, Doyle, and Cindy Lunsford. Any other information out there, Christine?
What's that?
Any other information out there?
Nothing. It's plenty. I think it's just time to dance. That's all.
All right, let's dance, people.